What up, everybody? It's your girl Annika, and welcome to Embody You Motivation Fitness. Today, we're going to be doing a yoga stretch for the hips and the lower back. As you can see, I'm starting in a semi-wide child pose. And we're just moving back and forth here, not going fully deep into the movement, just exploring our bodies and how they're feeling and waking them up. And here we are now going deep into the wide child pose. As we continue to be resting our head, our chest, and our palms on the ground, we are relaxing and relieving any stress from our day, taking deep breaths, feeling full of breath, and just really feeling our bodies and thanking them. And you will notice that my bum is not totally down to my heels, and that is okay. That is exactly why I'm doing hip opening exercises in yoga. And that is just where you're at, and that's okay. And take this time to really go at your own pace and just follow along as best as you can. I always love child pose, and we are slowly coming up out of it. Yep, roll the head around, see where you're comfortable. Slowly rock back and forth over each leg and your hips. And then come to a tabletop position. And here I really like to go back towards the heels and forwards, and just rock back and forwards, also stretching out the hips and changing the movement. And from here, we are going to start rounding through our lower back and coming down and hovering over the heels and coming up and back down, side to side, feeling the movement. And again, rounding up and rounding down, hovering over the heels. Again, we are going to deepen our wide child's pose position. After giving it a little stretch out, this should feel really good and relaxed, and you should feel a little more warm than when we did this the first time. We're going to roll to one side and lay on our backs. And when you get to your back, just give your knees a little lift. Tuck your tailbone in so your back is straight on the floor. Our feet are about as wide as the mat, and we're just going to rock our knees to the floor side to side. And you notice that my hands and arms are kind of in a cactus position. This also gives you a really great shoulder stretch. And as we slowly make our way back to the center, we're going to hug our knees and then move either towards your shins or your ankles, depending on your flexibility here. and just making a nice diamond with our legs. This will feel really good on the lower back. Again, you can see I'm rocking side to side, a little massage on the lower back and keeping your body aligned. And as you rock back and forth, just engage your core, really feel where your body is. And from here, we are going to reach forward inside or outside of your feet and rock into happy baby pose. And I personally love this pose. It really feels great on my hamstrings and on my hips. And we're just gonna stay here for a little bit. And you can always rock back and forth in this position, but we are going to hug our knees in. And if you can't reach your knees or your shins, you can always grab the back of your thighs and pull that way, as you see me doing right here. This is really great. Just give them a nice little squeeze up as close as you can get to the chest while having the hips still on the ground. Release. And now we are going to widen the knees out to the side. Just let them fall where they may with your feet together and really feeling grounded with the slight arch in your lower back and just breathing deeply here as you center yourself and connect and feel grounded. As we come up out of this pose back to center, we're going to widen our feet out to the edge of the mat. Put your hand through the hole and grasp with your other hand around your shin. If you cannot reach, then go to the thigh. This is a great way to open the hips. And as you can see, I'm not yet flexible enough to keep my upper back on the mat, but I'm doing it the best I can. And here you can also use your elbow to push your other hip out while you're grasping and get deeper into that stretch. And as we come back to center, slowly release. You're gonna switch your legs and weave your hand through the hole again and grasp the outer part of your leg. And keep that foot flexed, that's by the knee. Keep it flexed. It'll help with the heel. And you'll really feel all the motion here, and just focus on your breath as you go deeper and deeper into this stretch. And as we take our last squeeze, we're going to slowly come out of this position and into our downward dog. And here you want to press the heels towards the floor and push the shoulders together, making a very nice straight back. And just letting your head hang here. We're going to come into a forward lunge and drop our back knee. And really stack your knee over your front foot and make sure that your knees are in line with your toes. And just stay in this stretch right here if this is good enough. And if you feel like you can go lower, go ahead and go down onto your hands and your arms. If you go all the way down to your chest, that's awesome. And you want to try to keep your other hip parallel and engaged, moving towards the center line of your body. Then we can move our foot back to the center, hands on either side, and you see as I'm adjusting, keeping my hip on the bent leg also stacked over that knee and slowly hinging over the straight leg with my foot flexed. So really strong hamstring stretch. If this is too much, just flatten your foot onto the mat. And if this is, too easy or you're feeling it, you can always go forward and creep your hands out to whatever feels comfortable for you. As we gently lunge again and take our legs together, your back leg about a third of the way, and adjusting the hips, and this is for the hamstrings as well. I have very tight hamstrings, so sometimes having my foot flexed and pointed to the sky can be too much, so I pull. Sometimes I put my foot flat, bring it back up, whatever is most comfortable for you. And then we're going to go back into our downward dog and prepare to switch legs. Moving the hips around, the knees, giving everything a good little motion and stretch as we prepare to lunge our other leg forward, a knee coming back down to the ground. You might be more flexible on one side than the other, and that is completely normal. Our job is to try to equalize our muscles and our strength, because the more balanced we are, the less likely we are to have injuries. So as you can see, I moved down to my forearm, and you can go lower or stay up if you'd like, whatever is most comfortable. And as we work our way back up, putting our foot and inching it towards the center of our mat, leaning back over our heel, our bent leg, trying not to sit the hips all the way back, but have the hips over the knee and the foot flex in front of you, reaching towards the sky. And now we are going to slowly come out of the pose. Take your time. And moving our back leg forward, hinging over our foot. And like I said before, our very tight hamstrings, which is why this yoga is so important and helpful to unlock and unleash those muscles and really let them get a good breath and a good stretch. So keep your toes flat to the ground or raise them pointed to the sky for a little more challenge. And then we push back again into our downward dog, trying to push the heels flat to the floor if you can. And now we're coming down to the ground to one side and putting your feet out in front of you. And sit nice and tall, trying to keep your back straight. We are going to grasp the outside of our knee and our foot with our other hand and pull as close as we can to our chest and sit with it. This is really great for opening those lower hips and muscles and the glutes. So if you can't get it parallel to your chest, that is okay. Just where you feel comfortable. And we really want to keep the foot flexed and pressure around the foot and the knee so they're safe. And we just want to give a little rock and a little twist here. You won't be able to go very far. And we can look in one direction and slowly release it back down to the mat. Shake out the legs, bring your other knee up, grab the foot and grab the knee, flex the foot, and just squeeze it tight as you try to lengthen the lower part of your back. Try to think tall, stand tall. Think to the sky and pulling the body towards each other. Then looking over. And again, we're going to slowly start to twist and rock. Whatever's most comfortable for you. To really just dig deeper into this stretch. And look over to one direction. And try to twist in that direction. And you won't be able to go far. Just a nice and easy stretch. This can be very challenging and takes lots of focus on the mind, the body, and the breath. And as we gently release or bring it back down to the mat, shake out your legs if you need to. And we're going to sit nice and tall. And we're just going to hinge at the waist to reach over, touch our toes. If the toes are too far, then touch your thighs, your shins, your ankles. Just hang out here. Get a nice stretch in the lower back. Relax the head. And as we come up, we're going to sit back down onto our back, and our knees again are up. And we are going to take a wide stance, feet at the edges of the mat, and slowly rotate our knees and our thighs to the ground. We're going to come up and engage our core. We're going to sit nice and tall and grab the backs of your legs here and keep your feet grounded at the moment. And we're just going to hang out here and lengthen our back, focus on our breathing. And now as you're focusing on your breathing, being grounded, I'm going to start to breathe and roll the back and push the chest forward. Again, keeping our knees bent, feet on the ground, hands on the back of the thighs, and just really getting a good breath. Breathe in and breathe out as we come up. And just popping the chest forward a little bit. Feel really good stretches and throughout the back and the spine. And then we're going to give ourselves a little bear hug and curl into the knees and get as close to the knees as we can. And some of you probably have already done this, but dropping the head, relaxing the chin to the chest, and just hanging out here and enjoying the breathing and really feeling our body through this movement. As we slowly come up, leaning back, feeling it through our vertebrae, through our spine. We are going to really lean forward, lean back, just really feel the movement. See where you're at. And we're going to grab the back of the legs again. And this time flex the feet. So slight variation, so flex the feet. If this is too much, go ahead and go back down to the flat foot. And in 3, we're going to lift the feet up. All the way up. Point the toes and just be balancing on the tip of our spine and our glutes, and just tightening our core through this movement and breathing deeply. And coming back down. Gonna stretch the legs out and pull in one leg. We're going to pull it as close as we can to the chest. And we're going to do a slight twist. You don't need to twist all the way around. Bare hand for support and just look to the side. You don't need to go all the way over your shoulder, but just slightly to the side as we think tall, we think elongated, breathing deeply here. Next, we're going to open it. Put the thigh down to the ground, the knee down to the ground. Breathe, and as we breathe out, we reach behind and fold over to the outer side of the foot. And you see the foot is flexed, and outer side of the foot for a good stretch. And as we are doing that, we are conscious of our bent knee, and we try to force and inch our way to put the thigh as close to the ground as we can, trying to get as flat as possible. Again, this is a complex movement, full body engagement. We come up and you breathe in again, and this time both hands to the feet. Again, if you can't reach the toes, go to the thigh or to the shin or to the ankle. And just relax here. Let the head drop and the chin drop to the chest. And again, we are going to squeeze the knee to the chest as close as we can. Feel a good stretch and slowly twist. And not all the way over the shoulder, but just to the side. Think tall, think elongated, think straight spine. And do the best you can. You guys are doing great. As we come back, we're going to again lay down that leg to the side, flexing our foot out in front of us, and we're going to reach back for stabilization and reach forward and grab the outer ends of our feet. And just stay here for a moment and drop the head and focus on our breathing and engaging also the other hip, pushing that leg down to the ground. As we come up again, breathe and hinge straight over to the toes. Both hands. And feel the stretch. Bend the knee a little bit if you need to. And just relax. And now coming out of this position, stretch what you need to, move and wiggle the legs if you need to. And we are going to then bring the other foot to meet our bent foot. Put them together for a nice butterfly position. And we're going to give ourselves a little bit of space in this butterfly, so you don't need to get it as close to your belly button. You can leave it farther away. And we're going to think straight spines, sitting up straight, breathing. If you can reach for the heels, great. The toes, great. And you can also go to the knees and to the thighs. And we're going to slightly hinge at the waist and look slowly past the tips of our toes and come back up. And as we do this and as we breathe in and out here, you can also push the legs down to the ground using your elbows. And coming out of this position, we are going to put our feet out in front of us and do a swimming motion. Opposite hand to opposite foot, no grasping, just slowly stroking it. As we feel and breathe, try to get a rhythm going and just notice how you're feeling here. As we've come out, we're just going to stretch slightly forward and fix on the glutes and reach forward. Bend the knees if you'd like. We don't want to lock our legs out. And we're just going to touch both hands to our feet. Again, if that is too difficult, please move to the heels, the ankles, and the shins. Now we're moving into our next pose. So allow yourself to really feel where you're at. This is kind of different and can be a little awkward. So we're going into a frog pose. I'm trying to get used to coming from the ground up. So you see the little struggle there. But any way you like to get to this position is okay. Just be safe. And you see me rock and put my toes up a little bit. Rocking side to side in this frog pose right here. Just making sure the legs are wide enough and the knees are following the direction of the toes. And you can stay here if you want. And we're going to go deep into a deep, deep, deep squat here. If the squat is too much, you can continue doing froggy position. This can be a very strong pose for people. Coming up out of this pose, nice and slow, we're just going to hinge and fold over and come back down. I like to go up and down just to give the legs a bit of a break, stretch it out, and then go again and try to get lower than I did the first time. So sometimes you might need a little stretch like that. If not, it's okay, you can stay there. And now I'm bringing it back down into a table pose variation. And we're going to go back up into the folded position here. And again, don't lock out your legs. Please keep a slight little bend in the knees, preserving our joints. And in our folded position, I like to rock a little bit, feel more engaged in the hamstrings and different parts. And so I walk my hands forward, come more into the center of my foot and the toes, and then again back into the heel of the foot, and really feeling the different sections of my hamstring and my legs that are being worked in this stretch, and getting a clearer understanding of my body and how it feels. And again, we are going to drop back into the froggy pose or into the deep squat. So whatever is more comfortable for you. Again, take your time. Everybody is on a different level. Just go at your own pace and what feels comfortable for you. And again, drop back. I hate the idea of falling, so I'm just trying to get used to it. Throwing your body in the air, but we're gonna scoot forward again and lay down and breathe in this position. Keeping the knees up actually puts less pressure on your lower back than putting them out straight. But here we're going to squeeze the knees into the chest. And then we're going to drop the legs open and do a slight rock, as you can see, side to side, around in circles. Just really feeling this movement. And we are going to be slowly moving to a supine twist. You're going to stretch out one leg in front of you and put the leg over the bent knee, and then just slowly shift your weight to one side of the mat and lean over and let the legs fall as close to the ground as they can. And breathe here. Big, deep belly breaths. And then we're going to move back to center. Again, putting the knees up, tucking the bottom, putting one leg over the other, and again, shifting the weight and letting the legs fall. Again, if this is too difficult or you're feeling pain in this position, please adjust and move. And you can always put the knees together and not fold them into each other, and have the knees parallel to the ground as well. And we again are going to have the knees come close to the chest as we can. Feel it on our lower back. You can rest here if this feels good to you as well. Really focusing on the SI joint. And just deep breathe here. Focus on your alignment and your breathing and stretching of the lower back. We're doing this and we're slowly going to be moving into a happy baby pose. And here we're going to do slight kicks. We're going to be kicking one foot out at a time, just reaching, kicking, and bringing it back in and kicking the other one out. Get a nice stretch. And a slight rock is totally fine. Just whatever feels most comfortable to you. And honestly, I really do love this pose. It's so much fun. And release. Back down to the mat. And then we're just gonna spread our legs out and deep breathe here. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been awesome and such a pleasure. I hope this helps you guys with opening your hips and your lower back. And again, if you are here for the first time, please follow the links below for my fitness IG account and my main IG account. And please follow, like, and subscribe to this channel, Embody You. I really appreciate all the love and support you guys give me. And I really hope you guys are all staying safe, healthy, and learning to love ourselves deeper on this journey. Namaste.